Et bienvenue, mes amis. This is Monsieur Minardi, and it is so good to be with you again. As we begin this new school year, for those of you moving into French 1 and French 2, whether you're in class or distance learning, I want to start with a review vocabulary. What I've done is I've gone back through our vocabularies from French 1, and I've kind of selected, well, not kind of, I did. I selected 45 different words from all of those vocabularies, just to kind of get us back into the routine of doing vocabulary and kind of helping to remind you of some of the vocabulary words that we looked at last year in French 1. So we'll do our regular vocabulary quizzes with these, and we'll just treat it like a regular vocabulary. So I hope you enjoy the words I have chosen for you. And so right now we are going to go through that vocabulary. Okay, I'm just so excited. I hope you are too. All right, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to say the word in French, and so you can hear how it is pronounced, and then I'm going to show you the English translation and see if you can remember some of these. You may remember all of them, and that would be super duper. If not, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy as you relearn them all over again. Now, at any time, you can pause this recording and you can practice your pronunciation, or you can get up and, do something else. I don't know. I'm not there. You just have fun with it, because I know I will. All right, here we go with our very first word in this French 2 review vocabulary from French 1. Un crayon. Un crayon. And that means pencil. Did you get that one? I'll bet you did. All right. Remember, the word un or une in front of a noun just means a or an. I put it there to help you recognize what gender this noun is. And of course, if it's un, then it's a masculine noun. If it's une, it's a feminine noun. All right. Let's go on to the next one, shall we? Well, we just did that one. Okay. How do I go on from here? Well, I'm having fun. How do I move on? Oh, there we go. It's been a while. Okay, the next one. Un garçon. Un garçon. And remember, that C with the cedilla tells us that that hard C is now going to be pronounced like a soft C. All right, and garçon, of course, means boy. Right. Okay, next one. Un homme. Un homme. All right. Now, this one starts with an H, this noun. And remember, H's are silent in French. So it's going to sound like un homme. Okay. Because the H is silent here, we act like it's not there. So in the mind of the French, this word begins with a vowel, that O. And remember, anytime that is followed by a vowel, it loses its nasality. That vowel is like kryptonite, okay? And it renders it unnasal. So we just pronounce it un, okay? We don't say anum, we say unum. Got it? Unum, unum. And that, of course, means man. Man. All right, the next one. Un jour. Un jour. That OU is always pronounced like OO. We pronounce the R. Remember that R sound? Un jour. And a jour, of course, means day. All right, doing fine? It all coming back to you? Excellent, excellent. And we go on. Un livre. Un livre. Okay? Now, with livre, it ends in RE, but we are not going to say un livre. All right? This word, that E is silent, the word ends with an R, and that's where we stop. We say livre, livre. Don't forget that. If you put that E on the end, it's hillbilly French, and you don't want to sound like that. But what is un livre? It's a book. All right. We keep moving on. That's 5 down, 40 to go. Next up is un lycée. Un lycée. Remember, Y is considered an I. It's pronounced like an I. The E with the accent aigu over it is always pronounced A. Therefore, we get un lycée. And that, of course, something you are very familiar with is high school. That's a high school, like Smyrna High. All right. Good. You got it? Excellent. We move on to the next one then. And the next one is un ordinateur. Un ordinateur. All right. Again, this one starts with a vowel. So we're going to pronounce that not un, but un. Un ordinateur. Oui. Remember, that ends with an R. So we are going to, we are going to pronounce it with that guttural sound. And we come up with un ordinateur. Oui, très bien. And that means, can't wait to find out, computer. That's how we say computer. And if you'll give me a moment here, I need to take a sip of my refreshing beverage. My throat gets a little dry because I like to talk a lot while we do these. So just a moment, please. Indulge me. That was delicious. All right. I'm moving on now to the next word. Un soir. Un soir. Remember that OI is always the wa sound. Put it together. Un soir, which is evening. Let's see what we got now. All right, now we're moving into the feminine nouns. How can I tell? Because they have the article in front of them. In. All right, and we always say in, even if it's followed by a vowel, because in is not a nasal sound. So always pronounced in. And in cantine. In cantine. And that, my friends, is how we say cafeteria. Hey, I'm going to go to the next word. Come join me. Une chose. Une chose. I like that word. Remember, CH is the sh sound in French. That intervocalic S between two vowels is going to be pronounced like a Z. Une chose. And that means thing. Isn't that a pretty word for thing? I think so. All right. Une femme. Une femme. Okay, this one's a little unusual because by all rights it should be pronounced femme, but it's an exception to the pronunciation rules. We don't say femme, we say femme. Une femme, and that of course means woman, or it can also mean wife. Let's see what's coming up next. Une fenêtre. Une fenêtre. All right. Now, that E after the F is what we call a mute E. The French don't normally like to pronounce those. So it's like you're saying f and then net, fenêtre. All right. You don't hear that E, maybe very briefly, but we certainly don't say fenêtre. We say fenêtre. All right. Une fenêtre is, you got this one? Window. Window. Okay, we got more. Une fille. Une fille. Remember that double L in this word is pronounced like a Y. So we come up with une fille, which means girl. Now, I should have put it can also mean daughter. All right. I guess I'm slipping because I didn't put the second, Devin, but I am a little bit older than I was the last time we were together, so it's to be expected. Okay, girl or daughter. Hey, I'm going to go on to the next one. Une heure. Une heure. Remember, the H is silent in French, so we're not going to hear that word. And instead, we're going to go right to the vowels. We put that all together. Une heure, une heure. And what's une heure? That's how you say an hour. An hour. See, we don't even pronounce that H in English. All right. Une personne. Une personne. And this is sort of a cognate. It's a close cognate. Those are words that almost look like the English word, and they mean the same thing, of course. And that would mean this means person. Next up. All right, now we're moving into our vowels. Verbs. Yes, verbs. Okay, and since the only verbs we have learned are the ER verbs, and we're soon going to remedy that. You're soon going to learn a lot more verbs with different endings, but that's how I can tell this is a verb. It ends in ER, which is, of course, why they're called ER verbs. I'm getting very technical here. All right, so this one is pronounced aimer, aimer, and aimer means to love. Yeah. It's a love word. What's up next? Avoir. Now this doesn't end in ER. It's an irregular verb, which means it doesn't follow a set pattern. We just have to memorize the forms, but it's a very important verb, avoir is, because it means to have. The next one is chercher. I like it because it's got all those sh sounds in it. C-H-C-H. Chercher. Very soft sounding verb, and it means, whoops, I'm giving away my secrets. It means to look for. To look for. All right. I already showed you this one, so I'll go ahead and do that. Donner. Donner. Remember that ER at the end of the infinitive? It's always pronounced A. Donner. And what is donner? Why, that means to give. But we're not done. More verbs coming up. Écouter. Écouter. There we have the E with the accent aigu. We have the OU. Écouter. Écouter means to listen or to listen to. Est-ce que vous m'écoutez? Est-ce que vous m'écoutez? Are you listening to me? All right. I'm sure you are. You could tear yourself away if you tried. Next one up. Être. Être. All right, that E with the accent circonflexe is pronounced eh. Okay, again, it's an RE. It ends in RE. It's not an ER verb because this is an irregular verb, which means you just have to learn the forms. They don't follow a pattern. All right, and again, we don't pronounce that final E. We don't say être. We say être. And être means to be. Very important verb because being is very important. Next one, manger. Manger. That G is a soft G because it's followed by an E, so we pronounce it like je instead of g. Manger. And I'm sure you remember manger, everyone's favorite verb, because it means to eat, and we like to eat. Can't live without eating, literally. Okay. Parler. Parler. All right. It's kind of hard to say that L after the ch, but give it your best shot. Parler. And parler means to speak or to talk. Hey, I'm liking this. What's next? Regarder. Regarder. Got a lot of R sounds there. Regarder. Regarder. And that it means to watch or to look at. Good, good. All right, well, we still have more verbs. Travailler. Travailler. This double L is going to be pronounced like a Y, so we come up with travailler, and this word means to work. Work is good for you. All right? Teaches you responsibility, gives you a sense of accomplishment. All right? Work is very underrated in our society. Oh, well, that's my sermon anyway. But you didn't come for a sermon. You came to learn some words. So let's move on to another one. All right, now we're moving into adjectives. Now, remember, adjectives are like nouns, all right, because they have gender. We have masculine forms and feminine forms. Because if a noun is masculine, it's going to use the masculine form of the adjective. And if the noun is feminine, it's going to use the feminine form of the adjective. Normally, we form the feminine by adding an E to the masculine form, but not always. Sometimes we have irregular forms like this one. We have beau in the masculine, but belle for the feminine. And what is beau and belle? Well, it describes you. You know why? Because you are beautiful. All right, beautiful. Let's find another adjective. Bon in the masculine, bonne in the feminine. Notice in the masculine it has a nice nasal sound, on, bon, but in the feminine no nasal sound, bonne. And bon, bonne mean good. Good. And that also describes you because you are good students. Next up. I love this one. Just by looking at it, it poses people get a little nervous about pronouncing it, but it's really not that bad. It's ennuyeux. 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 In the masculine, in the feminine, it's ennuyeuse. Ennuyeuse. And what is ennuyeux? Ennuyeuse? Why, it's, I don't know, this is not applied to me. I am certainly not ennuyeux, because that means boring. You wouldn't call me boring, would you? Well, not to my, well, never mind. Here we go. Can you tell I'm enjoying this? I really am. Next one, facile. Now, we love facile because it only has one form that goes with both masculine and feminine. So we don't have to worry about another ending. We love those kind of adjectives. One size fits all. Facile means easy, which is appropriate because it's very easy adjective to use. Facile. All right. It's 29 of 45. We're going to hit number 30 right now. And that is fatigué. And in the feminine, it is still fatigué. It's just spelled with an extra E. So you don't hear a difference in the pronunciation. You just see the difference in the spelling. But they're both pronounced fatigué. And what is fatigué? Oh, you know this because it's where we get our word fatigue from. That's right, it means tired. Tired. All right, the next one, français in the masculine, and in the feminine, française. Français, française. And couldn't have a welcome back vocabulary without this word because it means French. Oui. Next one up is grand in the masculine, but in the feminine we get to pronounce that D. Grande. Grand, grande. And you recognize this one. It means big or tall. Next one, important. And that's in the masculine. In the feminine, it gets an E, and we get to say that T on the end. Importante. Important, importante. And this word is very important, right? Because it means important. What have we got hiding next? Come out, come out. Jeune. Jeune. And we like jeune because it only has one form for both masculine and feminine. Very handy. And this would describe all of you, but not me, unfortunately, because it means young. Jeune. Young. And you certainly are young people. I'm young at heart. That's what us old people say, so we can still use the word young to describe ourselves. Next one. It's not octopus. All right. It's an adjective. Occupé in the masculine, and in the feminine, occupé. Sounds the same, but it's spelled differently. In the feminine, it gets an extra E, and it means busy. You can see it, yeah, it looks like occupied. And when you're occupied, you're busy. All right. Next one, petit in the masculine. We don't say that final T. But when we add the E, we get to. So in the feminine, it is petite. Petit, petite. And this is how we say small or short. Okay. So when you're describing a person, you use the word petit to mean short. Hey, the next one, vieux in the masculine, vieux. Of course, we don't pronounce that final X. That would just be rude. But now, look, this has a very irregular feminine form, vieille. And that double L is pronounced like a Y, so it's vieux in the masculine, vieille in the feminine. And this is something that you are not, but yes, I am, and I admit it. I'm old. Old. All right. Oh, we're getting very close to the end. Here we go. Now we're into some adverbs, and we're going to begin with aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui. Okay. AU is always the O sound. OU is always the U sound. All right. R has that H sound, and the UI together, UI. Put it all together, the H is silent, and we come up with aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui. And that means today. Today. The next one is bien. Bien. And bien, we use it after verbs. It means well. Okay. Next one, maintenant. Maintenant. All right, so we have that beautiful un sound at the front. Maintenant. And that on sound at the end. And what is maintenant? It means now. Oops. It means now. Now. Okay. I gave away the next one, so let's move right on. Très. Très. The E with the accent grave is pronounced eh. The S, of course, is a final consonant. We do not pronounce it, so this word is pronounced très. And très means, whoops, I keep doing that. You can tell I'm anxious to finish. Très means very, very, like très bien, very well. All right, the next one. Now we're going to get into some phrases or some everyday kind of words. All right. And the next one, of course, is ça va. And this is a very informal greeting, ça va. Notice the cedilla under the C, which means this hard C is going to be pronounced like a soft C now. Ça va. And that means, how's it going? All right. And you just common greeting, ça va. And the reply back is usually the same, ça va, ça va, ça va. And when you say ça va back means it's going okay. All right. Next one, s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. Now, this is a little unusual because you see that CS apostrophe IL, you would think you'd say s'il and say s'il vous plaît. But you don't, you just say si. In this case, the L gets to be silent. Why? I don't know, it's just an expression, so I guess that's why. All right. And that means please. Whoops. Please. S'il vous plaît. Please. And that's the polite way of saying please. Believe it or not, the French have a polite way to say please, which is odd because it's a polite word. Anyway, but if you're saying it to a friend, a close acquaintance, you would say s'il te plaît. So s'il te plaît or s'il vous plaît, they both mean please. Next one is merci, and it is how you respond to the word please. Well, I don't know if it's how you respond, but it's another polite word. Let me put it that way. It looks like mercy, doesn't it? But it doesn't mean mercy. Merci simply means thank you. All right. We have one more to go. Let's see. I can't wait to find out what the last word is. It's an expression. À plus tard. À plus tard. À plus tard. which means literally 2 more late. But when we translate it, à plus tard means see you later. And that's what I'm going to do. À plus tard, mes amis. We're finished. And I've enjoyed this time reviewing this vocabulary with you. Enjoy practicing it if you so desire. And au revoir. À plus tard.